When a storm begins, most animals seem to know what to do. Birds disappear into trees. Small animals vanish into holes, bushes, or shadows. Even people have an instinct to move quickly towards some kind of cover. But then there is the giraffe. Tall, still, exposed, standing out in the open under a dark sky with rain falling across its body. A giraffe can look almost painfully helpless. It does not look dramatic. It does not look fierce. It does not even look like it is fighting back. It just looks sad. And maybe that is why storm footage of giraffes affects people so strongly. Because when we see one standing alone in the rain, it feels like we are looking at an animal that has nowhere to go. That feeling is hard to shake. The giraffe already has one of the strangest body shapes in the animal world. Its legs are too long. Its neck seems impossible. Its posture has a kind of awkward nobility to it, like it was designed to reach the sky, but not to survive what falls from it. In sunlight, that shape looks elegant. In a storm, it looks tragic. A deer in the rain can still look graceful. A lion in the rain can still look powerful. But a giraffe in the rain looks like something caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that raises a strange question. Is the giraffe actually one of the most miserable-looking animals in a storm because it suffers more than others? Or does it only seem that way because we are watching it with human eyes? Part of the answer starts with a simple fact. Giraffes live in open landscapes. They are animals of savannas, woodlands, and wide spaces. Their entire body is built for visibility. Height helps them spot danger from far away. Long legs help them move efficiently across large areas. A long neck helps them feed high above other herbivores. In calm weather, all of that is an advantage. But storms change the meaning of open space. What is freedom in sunlight can feel like exposure in heavy rain. And unlike smaller animals, giraffes do not have many easy shelter options. They cannot squeeze under a ledge. They cannot disappear into a burrow. They cannot crouch inside a hollow log. Even trees do not solve the problem very well. A giraffe is so tall that standing beneath many trees barely protects its body, and during lightning or violent wind, being near tall trees may not even be the safest choice. So while other animals seem to hide, the giraffe often does the only thing it really can do. It remains where it is, it watches, it waits. To us, waiting in the storm looks like surrender. But to the giraffe, it may simply be normal. That is the important difference. Human beings do not just observe animals. We interpret them. We assign emotion to posture. We read meaning into stillness. We see an animal lower its head, stop moving, and stand in the rain, and we think, hopeless, defeated, miserable. But stillness is not always despair. Sometimes stillness is just conservation. Sometimes it is caution. Sometimes it is the most efficient response available. A giraffe does not need to panic every time the weather turns harsh. In the wild, storms are part of life. Rain, thunder, wind, and sudden changes in light are not unfamiliar events. A healthy giraffe is not made of glass. It does not collapse just because the sky becomes loud. In fact, one reason a giraffe can look especially sad in bad weather is because its movements are naturally deliberate. It does not dart around the way smaller animals do. Its body is too large, too specialized, too energy-conscious for frantic behavior to be its first answer. So while another animal shows urgency, the giraffe shows restraint. And restraint under dark clouds looks heartbreaking. There is also the matter of scale. Storms make everything feel smaller. The sky becomes huge. The land becomes empty. The individual creature beneath it seems fragile, and a giraffe, despite being one of the tallest land animals on Earth, somehow becomes visually smaller during a storm, not larger. Its height does not make it feel protected. It makes it feel exposed. That is a strange visual trick. Usually tall things feel dominant. In storms, tall things feel vulnerable. A giraffe standing alone beneath a giant gray sky looks less like a giant and more like a target, a silhouette. A question mark drawn against the weather, and maybe that is why people project so much sadness onto it, because the giraffe seems to represent a very human fear, the fear of having no shelter. There is something deeply unsettling about being caught in a place where there is no obvious escape, no doorway, no roof, No quick solution. Most of us have felt some version of that, even if not in a literal storm. The sense that something overwhelming is arriving and all you can do is stand there and endure it. When we watch a giraffe in the rain, we may not only be seeing the animal, we may be seeing that fear. Still, that does not mean the feeling is false. It just means it is incomplete. A giraffe in a storm may be uncomfortable, it may be cold, it may seek better positioning, it may cluster loosely with others, it may turn away from the wind, remain alert, or reduce unnecessary movement. But looking miserable is not the same thing as being uniquely defenseless. That distinction matters, because nature often looks crueler when filtered through human emotion. A drenched bird can be fine. A motionless lizard can be regulating itself. A sleeping seal can look dead. And a giraffe standing in the rain can look emotionally devastated while simply doing what giraffes do. This is not to say storms are harmless. Severe weather can absolutely be dangerous. Flooding, lightning, wind, cold stress, injury, and habitat disruption can threaten many animals. Young, sick, trapped, or captive animals may be especially vulnerable. In truly extreme weather, suffering is real. But the reason the giraffe captures our attention is not only biology. It is symbolism. The giraffe looks like dignity stripped of comfort. Its long neck, which normally seems elegant, suddenly seems like a burden. Its height, which usually feels majestic, becomes a kind of exposure. Its calmness, which in sunlight looks graceful, becomes sadness in the rain. Nothing about the animal has changed. Only the weather has, and our interpretation changes with it. That might be the most fascinating part of all. The storm does not just transform the landscape. It transforms the meaning of the animal inside it. A giraffe in a sunny field feels almost ornamental, like a perfect piece of the world placed exactly where it belongs. But a giraffe in a storm feels misplaced, as if the same body no longer fits the moment. That contrast creates emotional shock. It makes us feel that the animal has been abandoned by the environment itself. And yet, the giraffe is not an outsider to nature. It is one of nature's own designs. It has endured weather long before we watched it through a screen. So why can't we stop feeling sorry for it? Maybe because a storm removes all distraction. There are no bright leaves to admire, no warm colors, no graceful feeding posture, no herd moving peacefully across the land. There is only the essential image, a living thing beneath a sky too large to control. That image is universal. It does not just say giraffe. It says exposure. It says endurance. It says vulnerability without collapse. And that may be why the giraffe feels like the saddest-looking animal in a storm. Not necessarily because it suffers more than every other creature, but because it shows suffering in a form we instantly understand. It stands there without the illusion of protection. It cannot disappear. It cannot pretend the storm is not happening. It has to meet the weather in full view. And maybe that is what moves us. Not weakness exactly, but visible endurance. The giraffe does not look heroic in the way humans usually imagine heroism. It does not roar at the sky. It does not outrun the rain. It does not conquer the storm. It simply remains, tall, wet, silent, and strangely dignified. Maybe that is why the image stays with us. Because in that moment, the giraffe looks like the part of every living thing that cannot escape hardship, only pass through it. The part that stands under what it did not choose and waits for it to end. So yes, a giraffe may be the saddest-looking animal in a storm, but maybe not because it is the most helpless. Maybe because it reminds us what helplessness looks like from the outside. And maybe in the end, what looks like sadness is something quieter than that. Not surrender, not defeat, just endurance in its simplest form. A tall animal under a dark sky doing the only thing it can do, standing there until the weather passes.